Hello, everyone. How are you? It's Empowering Monday again. It's our week 3, so I'm going to wait to start. I'm hoping a couple people will join. I'm so excited to be here. So thought I'd kind of figure out this little doodad here. So this is my 3rd Monday in a row, Empowering Monday. So if you're watching live, if you're here, you wouldn't mind saying hi, that you're here, and then where you're from, where you're watching it from. So I'm here in Laramie, and so what I thought I'd share today was to go through in Empowering Monday is to talk about the law of intentionality. And so what I wanted to talk about the law of intentionality is some of the reasons why we don't start. And so last week I touched about what do I mean when I talk about personal growth? And so, oh, hi Krishna, thanks. Glad you're here. What I had talked about was what actually is personal growth. So we talk about it and you hear that word a lot, but so when I think about it in this manner is think about any type of area of your life, whether it's finances, relationship, parenting, your career, your health. You think about an area that you want to improve. And so to do that, you actually have to focus on it intentionally to make some differences. And so when I talk about personal growth, because it's different for me as it is different for you, it's different for all of us, but one of the reasons that when you start to go look at it, it's called the law of intentionality, is because we're really figuring out where we want to go focus and where do we want to improve ourselves. And so one of the reasons that sometimes people don't do it is that they call it the mistake cap. And what this is that we're afraid to make mistakes. We want it to be, we want to get there, but we don't want to have to go through the growing of the learning that comes from the mistakes. And so many of you know I'm a baseball fan, and so Babe Ruth, I'm sure most of you have heard of Babe Ruth, is that he started his first game on July 11th, 1914. And he became one of the greatest, right? Hall of Famer. I think it was 10 award-winning something. Sorry, losing it. And do you think when he started that first day at 19 years old that he didn't make mistakes, that he knew he had to be a better pitcher? Of course he did, right? Because you're thinking, well, he's a professional, and at that time baseball looked a lot different. But so he has a quote that I wanted to read to you, which is, yesterday's home run won't win today's game. And what does that mean? That means that every time we're going to learn something, we're going to stretch something, we're going to make mistakes. And I welcome them. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, and so I've become comfortable with knowing I'm going to make mistakes. And so really a mistake is simply another way of looking and doing things, and that's by Warren Bennis. And so you want to look forward to and expect that you're going to make a mistake. So for instance, most of us have been to school, whether it was high school or onwards, and you start out with the class and they give you a syllabus. And through the syllabus, you do your first paper and you turn it in. And then what happens is you get this feedback, and you take that feedback, you reflect upon it, and then you can improve your next time. So you can do that with a work performance, a home performance. It's opening up that communication, knowing that you're going to make those mistakes. But sometimes these mistakes is what holds us back, that we're afraid to make these mistakes. And so, outside of being a mom, my decisions to grow has impacted my life the most, and that's why I've been fortunate enough to have such great opportunities for that learning, for that growing. And so when you think about the law of intentionality, what is holding you back? Is it this? Is it the mistake gap? We've talked about the assumption gap, the knowledge gap. Last week we talked about the timing gap. That is the timing always right to do something to grow ourselves. And so I would ask you to think about this question for this week is, what would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? what's in your mind? What would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? And when you start thinking about the things that you want to do, what would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? It's a different way to kind of take that, if I make a mistake, what if something goes wrong, and turn it around into, what are the possibilities if I go down this route? What could possibly happen? How inspiring would that be if you knew you could achieve something great without a mistake? Now, mistakes will happen, but what if you could put that aside and think about the impact? What would that have impact be if you tried something new? What if it had to do with your health? What if it had to do with your career? What if it was with your boyfriend or your spouse, your parents, your children? What would be the impact? What type of role model would you be for trying things that could happen? And so not stopping ourselves because we think a mistake could happen. So I had, one of my experiences is that I moved to Colorado in 2004. And in the process, I went there to heal from the end of my 20-year relationship. Of course, I didn't know I was going there to heal at the time, but I just thought it was a good place to go. I was in the middle of my bachelor's. I had left my job at Seagate, and instead of getting a year of a leave of absence, I left. And what happened is I moved out to Longmont, Colorado, and the most extraordinary things happened because I allowed myself to be open to all the possibilities that were going to happen. And so, hi, Elliot. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Both Lisas. Hi, Donna. Hi, Tanisha. And so what ended up happening is I graduated in 2005, a year later, finished up my bachelor's degree after 15 years, and I went out there, and I thought it was going to be, oh, Lisa, love you too. I went out thinking, oh, it'll be no problem finding a job. I had bought a house, I had a newer car, I had just graduated. And what ended up happening was not that. I ended up getting these really low paying jobs, and I started to really struggle financially. And I thought to myself, I am not going to go back to California, because if I go back, people are going to think I made a mistake by leaving my great job that had endless possibilities. Oh, yeah, thinking about it, it was really a big thing. And so what I did is I put it out to God, the universe, for myself. And I decided, okay, I took a road trip with my girlfriend. We went up to Rocky Mountain National Park, which was, 30 minutes away. Drove around that day and decided I would just let happen. And I sent my resume off to two friends. One of them worked at another high-tech company. She took the resume down to the hiring manager. 2 days later, I got called. A week and a half later, I was flown out to California. The next day, I got a job offer offering me something over 6 figures, and I came back to California, and that was at Hitachi. And so I was hired with something I didn't even have the skill yet, which is lean. But so my emphasis on sharing this story is that I made a lot of mistakes before that happened, and I reflected on what I was learning. And what it did is it had completely changed my whole career path by accepting and being open for that. Returning back to California and that job put me on this career path that I've been on for the last 6 years with this whole performance improvement. And so, but I had to prepare myself to be able to make a mistake. So my question again to you is, what would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't make a mistake? What are you thinking about doing that you're holding back because you're afraid of making a mistake and looking stupid? Now, I look stupid a lot, I'm sure, to some people. I'm sure I do. I think sometimes people think, what is she doing now? Where is she moving now? What is she doing now? But here's the wonderful thing about all of this. You can make a mistake, and it can be the most beautiful mistake that opens your opportunities. And so think about that. What is holding you back from taking a look at one area of your life? Maybe it's your career, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's your health, maybe it's some behaviors. If you spent a little bit of time intentionally and were not afraid of making a mistake, what would that impact be on your life? Making those mistakes changed a huge portion of my life. You know, I wouldn't have been able to be where I am now, and without that one step and all those mistakes that led up to that. So that's what I will leave it with. You know, outside of being a mom, the greatest thing I ever did was to start to focus on specific areas of my life and grow to who I am today. And so I would love for you to look at your own life and see if the mistake gap is what is holding you back. So if you guys need me, I'm here. So love you guys and have a great, freaking fantastic, empowered week. Okay? Love you guys. Bye.